What comes to mind when the word strategy is combined with the name Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? What do you think of? Do you picture people passively protesting, or the speeches that move you to tears? Tell me, what do you see? Let's first look at the environment that contributed to the ideologies of Dr. King. The great city of Atlanta, Georgia, where Dr. King grew up, attended college, was also once burned to ashes by General Sherman of the Union Army. In 1906, racial tensions erupted into riots, reminding residents of a volatile past. At the present time, the city of Atlanta is still working diligently to overcome its history of racial prejudice. However, this environment fueled and paved the foundation of strategies from the man who did not see color or creed. He had a vision and a dream. Dr. King did not seek to draw attention to himself as an individual. His first strategy was to draw attention to the racial inequalities. The laws that governed these inequalities, also known as Jim Crow laws, were the opponent in which he sought to ensure that all children would have access to the same caliber of education. The color of a person would not determine their worth. Lastly, that all people would have equal protection under the law. The first step was to show the public the strength of the black dollars. Through the boycotting of the Montgomery City bus system for 385 days, he was able to shake the infrastructure of Montgomery County, Alabama. Dr. King found renewed strength daily through his devout Christian faith. Additionally, he believed in the gospel, to love your enemies and do unto those what you would have done unto you. As a minister, he lived by the words he taught. He channeled that strength into a means to reflect positivity back from an angry, resistant opponent. He was jailed in Montgomery, spit on in Albany, slandered and beaten up in Chicago, and yet he still forgave those who committed these acts against him. The fire of perseverance burned deep within his heart. It called to him, saying, "Get up, Martin, you will prevail." Dr. King, having been greatly influenced by Mohandas Gandhi, utilized the same strategies that Gandhi had employed: economic resistance, passive protest, and civil disobedience, in which the civil disobedience came without moral or ethical injury to the opposition. He employed mass protests and marches, sang songs and hymns while doing so. These strategies were calculated and methodical. However, these were not the greatest of the tools within his bag. At the height of the civil rights movement, with Dr. King at the helm, his most prominent strategy was more effective than civil disobedience or passive protest. It was also more effective than the marches through the streets of Montgomery. His most effective strategy was that he showed two opposing races that they could love one another after a history of hatred. Dr. King's most effective strategy was not to strike first, but to love first. This effectively, slowly disarmed those who opposed him, giving way to lay the bricks of what would be the demise of segregation in the United States.